This is going to be a film study video covering Brian Branch's play in the Lions come from behind win over the Bears in Week 11. He had 6 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 1 quarterback hit, at least 3 really nice coverage snaps that I think illustrate his versatility. Some people call it instinct. Some people call it reactions or reads. I think all of those 3 things in some ways are synonymous, even though those of us that choose 1 or 2 of those words to use kind of eschew or reject some of the other ones. He did have 2 critical defensive penalties in the second half that gave the Bears first downs. And in fact, one of them early for fourth quarter was very important because it gave the Bears an opportunity to get their lead from 23 to 14 to 26 to 14 and possess the ball for another 2 minutes. Nonetheless, I thought Brian Branch played brilliant. And I thought shows you that there are a number of people who think he might have been the best player drafted in this entire NFL draft, which I don't know if I agree with that or disagree, but I think it illustrates the depth that he can play at in terms of how much impact he can have on a given play, and then also the width and versatility that he provides. Not the width of the field, but the number of different deployments that Aaron Glenn can use with him. I think he's a unique player, and this is my second video of a player that I'm using those phrases on in the last 3 days. I did one on Kyle Hamilton after the Ravens Thursday Night Football win over the Bengals. Feel free to check that out if you want. Very similar players with different builds and different backgrounds. Hamilton went to Notre Dame. Branch went to Alabama in the SEC, a higher level of competition on a week-by-week basis. But both of those guys just show amazing versatility, and I feel really blessed to be able to watch them because not only do I enjoy the play, but I have to watch the plays multiple times to understand them and try to bring the breakdowns to you. So you guys let me know what you think of the video as we go along. If you're unaware, I do have a Lions Discord community that's growing. It's a part of my Patreon that's $4.99 a month. The link for my Patreon's in the description. I don't tend to do self-advertisement, but I wanted to get this done early. I had a couple people point out to me that I need to do a better job of that. First quarter, first possession, first play, QB hit, Brian Branch. How? Why? Well, you could say he's instinctive, and he is here, or you could say he reacts well. The QB contained player is this edge defender here. I believe it's Barnes. He's the guy, the contained player. By the way, just so you know, the Lions played a lot of 4-3 personnel yesterday. Campbell, Anzalone, Barnes. As this tight end motion across, Branch went with him. He's the nickel defender. When the tight end sets up to pin block down on Barnes, it's Barnes' job to contain the quarterback. But the tight end is now in position perfectly to pin him down. Branch has dual responsibility. He's got pass coverage responsibility on the tight end. Tight end blocks, Fields rolls out. Branch is going to go get him. If you ask me, he waited until the perfect moment to choose to go. Because at that point, he knew he had to. Because Barnes isn't in position because of the tight end's potential to pin down on him. Branch goes and gets it. QB hit, first play of the game. Him and Hamilton are so similar, if you ask me, because they make plays like that are, quote, unscheduled. Fast forward, second possession. It's a 1st and 10. The Bears, of course, scored on their first possession. This is the second possession. They've crossed midfield. They're on the move again, leading 7-0. And this is going to be a TFL for Branch on Foreman. And this is important because it eventually led to a punt. 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. And Branch, they design a stunt for him. And here's how I know they design it. Check out the defensive end. Branch is off screen to our right, by the way. And you see there's only 2 inside linebackers on the field. You know that it's a stunt because I think that's Romeo Okwara is pinching inside to the B gap because they're bringing Branch off the edge. So in this situation, he ends up basically being the edge defender, and you can see there's clearly an attempt to be held there. They didn't call it, I guess, because Branch makes a tackle for, I believe, a 6-yard loss. He's a player who you use to turn the key in the car, and when he starts it, he's already in 4th gear. Some people start the car and they're in neutral or in park. Brian Branch seems to start the car and already be in 4th gear. Second quarter, Lions are still trailing 7-0 after Goff's second interception. And this is a run by Fields to the left on an option, and that is Branch and Aiden Hutchinson next to each other. So what they're going to do is step Hutchinson down on the dive, the running back. When I saw this, I was like, okay, they can stop the run if they really, really want to. I didn't think that early on the Lions really had a great plan to stop the run. By taking Hutchinson and running him down on the running back, essentially forcing a keep read, Fields was able to loop outside, keep it, and get yards outside on the edge. And then a couple of times he juked inside linebackers or defensive ends. One of them was Josh Pascal. One of them was Jack Campbell, who I think played a great game. But what the Lions have done is they've also brought Branch off this edge, basically saying, hey, if you're going to run it to the field right here, we're going to give you somebody for the running back, Hutchinson, and then we're bringing somebody for the quarterback, Branch, who defeats the tight end with a nice little inside rip and then is able to get involved in the tackle with Hutchinson. Beautiful play, if you ask me. And over the course of this video, I think you'll see the versatility that's there. Same play, end zone angle, Branch and Hutchinson is located on our left, the right-hand side of the defense. You can see it's 13 personnel, 3 tight ends on the field. He defeats 84 easy, gets in on Fields' legs. You never want your quarterback to have to take hits on his legs in the NFL. Branch is the kind of guy with the athleticism to tackle quarterbacks like Justin Fields and then cover people out in space. Fourth possession, 7-7 tie now. This is the 3rd and 5 that's going to be complete to the running back, Herbert. Underneath against zone, maybe Branch drifts an extra 1.5 yards, 2 yards here up to the top side of the field. You got zone relationship. The first down to gain is right there, the 35. Maybe he's a little deep here, if you ask me, because once Herbert catches this ball, I'm used to seeing Brian Branch come down at an angle, make that tackle 2 or 3 yards short of the line to gain. In this case, I think because he drifted so much, when he probably didn't realize it, because when he came downhill, you could see he has to adjust his angle. He's normally the curl flat player, the guy who is able to come downhill and make this tackle right around in here at the legs. In this case, Herbert is able to get it only really because he rolls over the top of Branch's body. Branch tackled him short of the yard to gain, but Herbert wasn't down until the marker because he rolled on top of Branch's body. Still a nice play if you ask me, maybe a little bit of drift in his drop. 3rd and 2. Same drive, 4th possession, QB sweep, and I think it was Schlereth, who I watch so many NFL football games now. I hope I don't get my announcers wrong. Herbstreit did the Ravens game, and I think this one was Schlereth. He covered it well. Branch is fighting people off. I think he splits this tackle with someone else. I think it's Jerry Jacobs underneath there. It's a 3rd and 2. Justin Fields, premier athlete. They stop him short. That's a physical play by a young man who can cut, both of them, Jerry Jacobs, who can cover down the field like you'll see here in a moment when he's playing middle of the field free safety. If you're a Lions fan, you listen this long, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you don't need someone to convince you how brilliant and versatile this guy is, but when the film shows it, I feel like it's easy content for me to put out. So this is same possession, 1st and 10, at the positive 27-yard line. It's 7-all. And play action pass to DJ Moore on the deep out. Unbelievable play by Brian Branch, seeing it. He's a guy who's had tackles for loss against the run. Took on 2 blockers on the previous play I showed you and is able to hold Fields to a 1-yard gain. They did convert on the 4th and 1. And then here, damn near makes an interception playing middle of the field free safety. C.J. Gardner-Johnson comes back, and you got him, Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph. It's an elite safety group, if you ask me, and just gives the defense even more options for coverage and blitzes. A brilliant football player, great draft. You guys have to educate me. When was the draft night scene when Brad Holmes was seen pumping his fist in the air, celebrating who they drafted? It probably could have been either of 2 or 3 guys, but for me, it would have been Brian Branch. All right, so they settled for a field goal after that play I just showed you, which the Bears were only able to take a 10-7 lead. Of course, Goff was able to take the Lions down the field and exceed that by throwing a touchdown pass for a 14-10 lead. 3rd quarter, 2nd and 5. This is going to be a big run by Foreman. Branch, again, is at middle of the field free safety. Doesn't necessarily do anything that's consequential in terms of his talent level or mind-blowing, but he is switching with Kirby Joseph when the tight end motion's over. Kirby Joseph has walked down a little bit. You can see depth-wise. So Branch is playing nickel. He's playing middle of the field free safety. In this case, he's playing high safety, splitting the field with Kirby Joseph. 3rd quarter, I think, same possession, 2nd and 4. Run by Herbert. 21 personnel. Here's Branch. The Lions are in a 4-3 alignment. So you've got Kaminsky, Hutchinson as your stand-up defensive ends, 2 interior D tackles, Barnes, Campbell, and Anzalone. I love this alignment, and I like Campbell as the Mike. Branch with a tackle for loss. Brilliant stuff off the edge, defeating Mercedes Lewis, who's been around for, I think that's Mercedes Lewis, who's been around for a long time in the NFL. Easy play in terms of the read. That toss play got shut down twice. 3rd and 15. This one I think is kind of questionable. This is defensive hold. This is illegal contact downfield by Branch. I mean, there is contact, but look, I've watched the Seattle Seahawks play 4 or 5 football games this year, and I have seen multiple DBs hold on every single play. Not just the Seahawks, other teams as well. This, to me, seems like a soft call. He does break the receiver's posture, and maybe that's why the ref throws the flag from up top. If he hadn't broken his posture so much, maybe the referee wouldn't have thrown the penalty right around there, right around the 44-yard line. That seems to be when the ref digs for the flag. Nonetheless, I think it's a soft call, definitely compared to the other one that you'll see here in a moment. This is 4th quarter, and I think this one's important because it's egregious by Branch. And number 1 and number 2, I believe this one gives them a first down that they're able to turn the 23-14 lead into a 26-14 lead. This ball is incomplete, but thrown over Mooney's head, and this one I think is pretty obviously a hold on Branch. He's a better player than this. He's catching, but number 1, the receiver's running directly into him. I mean, what's he supposed to do according to the rules? Turn and say, okay, go ahead and run where you want to run? This is an attempted clear out by him. So what I mean is, you got the inside receiver is Mooney. I think this is what Branch is communicating, and someone else is as well. This vertical stem here by the tight end to get into Branch's grill is all designed to allow this guy to slip under the route and get outside. So basically pick Branch and his man, which I think is Kirby Joseph. So while I do think it's an egregious hold by Branch, it also has to be mentioned that all the advantages are for the offense here. You as the tight end are allowed to run directly into his chest, into his space, to clear out someone else because you know that it's man. It's a smart play call by the Bears. I give them credit on it. I'm just mentioning and pointing out to you that as a former defensive coordinator, to me, it seems pretty obvious that the rules are skewed and slanted in the offense's direction in every game. But nonetheless, I thought Brian Branch played extremely well. I would love to see him not have his arms around the tight end there, but he's a man playing football with a helmet and pads on. He's not going to let someone just run him over, and he's certainly not going to open his hips and just let the guy run past him. So in any case, you guys let me know what you thought of Branch's play. Clearly, there will be some people who mentioned the 2 penalties as being disappointing, but I think the body of work over 60 minutes and all the places that Aaron Glenn was able to deploy him and line him up shows you how brilliant this guy is, how brilliant the draft pick was, and the impact that he can have. The games that he's missed this year, or the games when he's been quiet on the defensive side of the ball, to me seem to have aligned with the games that the Lions have played most poorly. Now, he did play the week before against the Chargers, so that one doesn't fit in line with my assertion there. But in any case, you guys let me know what you think of the video, the plays that I chose to break down, and what I pointed out. Number 2, and then also if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at Brian Branch. I'm going to do another one on Jack Campbell because I thought he played really well. I think he had 9 or 10 tackles on Sunday. But if you think Lions fans would enjoy this one, this film study look at Brian Branch, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.